Hello, everyone. This is Paul Hogden from SEO Underground, and I'm here with William Jones.
Hey
William,
guys.
hey,
Hey Paul, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing over there in the
Doing
Philippines?
awesome. Doing awesome. It's about to
Oh,
start raining here pretty
oh,
soon, but it usually waits afternoon. It rains all the time. I've had some people tell me like you need to bring some like sweaters and stuff to London because apparently it's cold and wet all the time.
would you know what? This year it's bucked the
Uh,
trend because
mm,
it was last 2 weeks ago. It was 40 degrees centigrade, which is
mm.
well over 100, and we just didn't know what to do. We don't have air conditioning in most of our houses, so we
Yeah,
were
I've seen that. I've seen that. They're talking about people and the temperature and everything and not having aircon. I said, what do you mean you don't have aircon?
yeah.
What the hell
We
type
all
of
sit in our
country is
cars.
that?
We sit in our cars with them. That's what we do. That's what we do. But so to crack on, for those who don't know who William Jones is, tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, I got started in SEO about 20 years ago, but recently, about 4 years ago now, I moved over to the Philippines and I run an agency with all Filipino staff. We got almost 50 staff here in Pagadian, and we've been doing this for a little over a year, almost 2 years now. We're an official business. It's not, I have virtual assistants anymore. They're all staff, all employees. And I went when I first started, moved over here right before COVID from 4 clients to well over 50 in 3 months. And now we have well over 1,500. So we
Well,
grew rather rapidly in less than 2 years. So,
that is significant growth. So you said you were you've been doing SEO for about 20 years.
yeah.
How did you get into SEO?
So here's how I got started in it. I was originally doing web design. I was going to school at Kaiser University, and then my staff or my professor had asked me. He said he wanted to teach, web design, JavaScript, stuff like that, and CSS, and started learning how to do that. And we built our first website. He says you got to get a paying client. Got a paying client, and I built a dog breeder's website, mass page website type.
Right.
And at that time, I didn't build the website. I built the structure, and then I hired a couple of people to help me build out all the pages. So that's how I got into. Even back then, I was getting into collaboration and having people help me build. And I actually made the most money off that project. Then after that, I took a break because this was during my first marriage, basically. Took a break and was also homeschooling at the same time, and then started picking up some clients. And then I started making more money than just one or two clients. And I started realizing, hey, just with web design, maybe I should actually just consider doing this. I made in my first year doing web designs like close to about $20,000 or something like that. And for me, that was a lot of money back then. And then I built a website for a guy, and this guy introduced me to another guy. Both of them were millionaires. And the one said, after I built the website for him, he came to me and basically said, hey, do you know how to get me on page one of Google? And I said, well, how much does it pay? And he told me $2,000 cash. And I said, why, yes, I can get you on page one of Google. And after that, I went, what is SEO? And I started researching it. This is during, when Scrapebox and you had EVO Brute Force with Peter and a lot of this. So I started getting into just researching and doing straight black hat SEO and all different types of things. So that's how I got started in it. Back then, I was selling backlinks and stuff like that on eBay. I would sell them to clients or whoever would pay. And after I ranked my first person, that's when I said, well, I really like this. And I started getting more and more clients because I'd find out, who's their competition. And back in those days, it'd be, was it going to take, I just need, 1,000 backlinks or whatever. It's going to cost you $3,000 and get $3,000 and done within a week. Their ranking. Now it don't work that way. It don't work that way at all.
No.
There's a whole hell of a lot more work to get rankings, but that's how I got started. It wasn't I went to school. I was self-taught. And every day you're learning more new stuff about SEO. New things come out, especially with running an agency like GMP posts getting rejected. Why are they getting rejected? just the other day. It's like this week, and I say, okay, test this. Okay, that didn't work. Test this. That didn't work. Now do this. Okay, ding, ding, ding. We got a winner. It was just the paragraph. Too much text in the description. So we got down to one paragraph, all approved, tested across all clients, all stuck. So we found the issue. Versus where, in my opinion, most SEOs say something works or doesn't work, and they're testing across maybe 10, 20 people. Whereas I go, let's test it across hundreds and all at one time. And I can tell you it works or doesn't work.
That's interesting. So what attracted you to the darker side of SEO? So what, I mean, obviously you were, as you said, working back in the day, perhaps a lot of it was considered black hat by today's standards.
Yeah.
But what sort of attracted you to perhaps continue down the vein of looking at, all of the different types of ways to rank a website?
In my humble opinion, people like, there are a lot of times you'll do all the nice white hat structure, the internal linking, the way the page is created or architecture of the page, which I agree with doing all that. And I do all that. But then I have other people, let's say, man, I busted my ass and I can't do this and I can't beat this competition. Then I pull in some black hat tricks and I can get you there within less than a week. These people will pay a lot more money than the people that want to take 3, 4, 5 months. So for me, it's always been about higher pay when it comes to certain aspects. There will always be people willing to pay more for the same service that just want it in a compressed amount of time. So I've always kind of just stuck that way. I like being able to beat someone. I like the competitive part of it. I like being able to say this person's at, top 2 spots or 1, 2, 3, and I'm down here and let me take them out. I like being able to do that. I like being able to, no one else has been able to take this fake GMB down, take the damn GMB down. I like being able to do that sort of shit. And get paid for it on top of it. I like helping business owners that are struggling on top of it. So for me, it's always, I don't really give a shit how you get there. The end result is you need to be in the top 3 of Google, and however you get there, it doesn't matter. As long as certain things aren't taking place, then you should be fine.
That's good.
But
amazing. So what would be the one thing, if you could go back in time, you had a time machine, what would be the one thing that you'd go back and tell yourself at the start of your SEO career?
Today, get thick skin and get it really fast. Because the SEO industry, for the most part, like I was telling you earlier, it seems like more of a bunch of social justice warriors or people that get really upset really fast and they get their panties in a twist about every damn thing. So get thick skin, because if you're going to do anything, and it's not just in SEO, it's across life in general. If you're going to, come in and disrupt a market, you're going to piss a lot of people off and you're going to make a lot of people happy. So anytime you do that, you just can't take what people say. Just, it is what it is. They're not paying my bills. Move on. Don't cry about spilt milk. Water under a bridge. They're saying so. But yeah. Yeah.
No, that's I think there's wise words. Thick skin can help in a lot of aspects of life, can't it?
Have alligator skin.
So sort of moving on from that, what would you say is the biggest mistake, the biggest howler that you've made in your career, and what did you learn from it?
So probably about in May of this year, I had put in the past year one of my trusted at the time VAs. There's so much I can say with this, but one of my trusted VAs who lived with me, he stayed with me. I treated like his son. He's more like my family. Tried to take over Rank Fortress, tried to take over the company.
Right.
And about 4 or 5 of them left. And when he did that, everything I used to have regarding a client was on Google Sheets. And he went into my computer, transferred everything from my computer over to his ownership, And he even the day before he did this wanted to know, hey, I put Stripe, I'm trying to log in because he used to even handle the bookkeeping.
Oh.
Hey, or the payments to see who's paid, who hasn't paid. I need the Stripe code. Can you get that for me? And something in me says, no, don't tell him. So I just went, hey, what's it regarding? He said, a refund on something because the guy no longer needed it. And I said, yeah, just tell me the ticket number. I'll handle it. He never told me the ticket number. Anybody knows anything about Stripe, he could have went in there and changed it over his bank account. All the payments would have started hitting his bank account.
Wow.
So the biggest mistake I tell you that I made is trusting a person with too much.
Yeah.
Now I don't do any of that. All of it's in a CRM that I'm the master of, and they all access and stuff like that, versus having one person you trust and all of it in Google Sheets and everywhere else. Whether that be passwords and stuff. This is why in a period of time, I even sent out an email blast to our clients and said, these people no longer work for us. And if you're using them, they are scammers and they will, they will do certain things. So,
wow. That is a big learning. That is a big
learning. It hurt really bad, mainly because I built this, with my wife, because she owns it, is the fact that we were trying to help people. That's all it's ever been about, is helping people. And we took them in as our own boys. And these same people are the ones that the entire time were turning their back on me. So because they wanted to start their own thing, which I understand.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
But there are ways to do it, and there's ways not to do it.
No, for sure. So, what are some of the best resources that you've used or that you still use now to sort of help you along in your business life and your SEO life?
So SEO wise, I read some SEO, but not too much. I really don't. I mean, the only way I stay on top of it, quite honestly, has always been what is the top people doing when you do a Google search for a term, find out what they're doing, duplicate what they're doing, outdo them, and you rank above them. It's always been that simple for me in that case. Now, I listen a lot to Chris Palmer when it comes to local SEO, Matt Diggity when it comes to affiliate SEO. I listen a lot to Holly when it comes to a lot of affiliate type stuff, and Rank and Rent, believe it or not. And Craig when it comes to affiliates as well. There are some other people I like, but CTR manipulations going to be Holly. Those are the resources I would stick by, but I read a lot. ET, he's another one I like listening to, but a lot of it has to do with mindset. So a lot of my books are going to be on straightness marketing and mindset, not so much SEO. There is one, I think his name's Dan Jones. He's an SEO on Entity SEO. That's a really good book. And then that's about it, really.
William, are you listening to or following anyone at the moment who sort of sparked your interest?
I mean, the main people I listen a lot to, honestly, are going to be Holly, Chris, and Craig. I don't really follow too many other people. Outside of Matt Diggity, I follow him a lot too. I do listen to Chase when it comes to bots and automation, because I'm very much into automation. I have my own tools that I use though, for automation, whether that be for forms and contact forms or emails, or if it comes to getting leads, or if it comes to finding prospects, whatever it is, it makes my life simpler. Whether they even be GMB posting, I am very much into automation, but really not too many people. I mean, honestly, I got about 4 or 5 people I listen to. That's really about it, because when you're doing such a large agency and stuff, it's kind of, we're already hands in, and we got our hands in the mud. So I see a lot of it before most of them will ever see it, especially when it comes to local SEO. Yeah. We see things, and when I see things, just like in GMB, when something's not working and I don't see it really moving the needle too much, I can say test this, and if it's not moving the needle, we just stop. Right. And then we'll start other things.
So William, what's the biggest SEO black hat myth that you'd like to debunk?
If it was to be anything, I would honestly tell you, for me, I don't think backlinks are as important as most people, specifically Black Hat, try to say and act as if they are. Um, I personally would tell you, I can rank stuff without any backlinks. Okay. And I'm not talking about stupid, long ass terms or just no one's going to be searching for. Okay. Um, if you have your page architecture, your site architecture, your page structure, your silos done right, and you're pushing out good content with internal linking, I can rank it without any backlinks. Okay. Now, will they help? Yes. But are they the end all be all, which is the way most people act? Hell no, they're not. Because what winds up happening is a lot of agencies and people say, well, how many backlinks am I getting with my monthly SEO? As if that's what's going to help them go to the top. And that is not what's going to help them go to the top. Now, if you're getting a backlink on Forbes magazine or New York, Post or whatever, that's different. But a backlink from where most of these people are going to get them from are not going to push the needle as much as most people think. So and a really good backlink can go anywhere from $400 or $500 to thousands if you actually get a good backlink. Or there are other methods to get the backlinks that you have. They're low quality, get their DA up higher and use them that way, but they're not the end all be all, which was most people act like they are. PBNs even. Yes, PBNs work, but are they end all be all? No, they're not. If you don't have your page structure, your internal linking, and everything else done right, it's just not going to work. You might, get a really strong backlink, but you're going to get them to a site that's not going to be siloed, not structured right, and people are going to go on it and bounce right off. So it's kind of pointless.
I agree. I think that is the key thing, is that people jump to administering medicine before they've actually worked out what's wrong. And I think that is a real big problem, is that people aren't starting in the right place. They're not.
I literally was just talking to a client earlier, and he wanted to start off a campaign on CTR manipulation, because I've used CTR manipulation driving directions, even though I'm in the Philippines. CTR driving directions for one of his other clients, and got him in the top 3. And he's like, wanting to do this. And I said, well, let me look at the site. Looked at the site. I'm like, you ain't got page structure, ain't got content, ain't got internal linking. You ain't even got a damn GMB embed. So there are a lot of things we need to do prior to trying CTR. For me, CTR is the final push. Or if I needed a really strong backlink, that'd be this final push. It wouldn't be, hey, let me try just doing CTR backlinks to do the whole thing. When you don't even have the basic structure, the basic SEO done. To me, if you're going straight, I just want to go straight Black Hat. I only want to do backlinks and CTR. To me, that shows you probably don't know a whole lot about SEO. If you don't have the basic structures down.
Yeah, and even the technical stuff people bypass. They're not looking at the speed. They're not looking at orphan pages.
Pages and everything else. They don't even look at that.
Yeah.
Half the time I'll get clients from other agencies, and we'll run a technical audit, and it has 200-300 errors on it, of broken links, broken images, orphan pages, the mobile page speed. Oh, it passed GT metrics. Who gives a shit? Does it pass core vitals? Well, what's core vitals? What's the difference? My SEO didn't tell me about this. Yeah, well, core vitals is what matters, not GT metrics. So.
Yeah, I think that is one of the things, and I think it's definitely sort of the SEO areas that definitely need tackling. Is start at the beginning, don't start at the end, because it is certainly a process. And
well, then what winds up happening is then they say, well, I tried CTR and it didn't work. It didn't work, or you didn't follow the process. It didn't work means usually you didn't follow step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. You went straight to step 5 and then go, oh, it doesn't work. No, it does work. You just got to go step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got to do the other things that most everybody wants to skip.
So can you give us a hint as to what you're going to be talking about at SEO Underground this year in October?
So my plan is to be talking about authority hacking and how I took my agency from 4 clients to where we're at now. We're over 1,500 clients. Specifically, what to do with trolls, how to come in and disrupt the market, things of that nature. And that's what really blew me up. Was not even necessarily, quote unquote, I'm a great SEO. I'm really good at marketing, but I'm not the best SEO. But I'm also really good at authority hacking and disrupting markets and stuff like that. But it's things I've learned from people like Dan Kennedy, Ben Settle, things like that. And that really helped me along my way. That's another, if I was to tell you to read anything, it's going to be by Dan Kennedy and Ben Settle. Ben Settle is one of the top copywriters in the entire world. So,
excellent. There's some good tips. But that sounds, authority hacking sounds pretty like a pretty good subject to hear at SEO Underground. I think it's a subject that most people are quite curious about. So I'll certainly be looking forward to hearing your talk on that on the 4th of October. So I wanted to say thank you very much, William Jones, for taking the time out to talk to me. I want to just remind people that SEO Underground runs on the 4th of October for the main conference. We would love to see you there. If you want tickets, it's seounderground.co.uk. This guy's going to be here, so we will look forward to seeing William. And other than that, we will see you on the next talk. And thanks again, William Jones.